What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at this 2023 Nissan Maxima. Big shout out to Flo Nissan of Statesville for providing this sedan for today's video. Take a look at their website linked below. And then at the end of today's video we're going to unveil the MSRP on this new Maxima, see if I think it's worth the money. Underneath the hood of the 2023 Nissan Maxima, you're going to find a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6 engine pumping out 300 horsepower and 261 pound-feet of torque. It's paired to a CVT transmission, sends the power to the front wheels, and with a curb weight around 3,700 pounds, running on an 18-gallon fuel tank, you're looking at 20 miles per gallon in the city with 30 out on the highway. The overall length is 192.8 inches with wheelbase at 109.3. Height is 56.5 and width is 73.2 inches. And then now moving on to the exterior styling with the 2023 Maxima. This has a lot of very sharp body lines all throughout it. I really like especially these LED headlights. They have a very cool look, as you can see with the DRLs. You also get a very cool blacked out design. Moving towards the center, you're going to see a chrome trim piece wrapping the entire grille, and you also got the new Nissan badge right in the center. Down below that, we have another opening in the grille to provide maximum cooling to all of the radiators, and then being the Platinum, you can see even more chrome trim all around. In the farthest corners, we get a set of LED fog lights with gloss black trim around them, and then all of your parking sensors within the front bumper. I really like these sharp angles you're going to see up in front. It really gives it a pretty modern appearance. And then the hood is very smooth with a pretty unique triangular shaped sharp line throughout the center. Has a lot of cool body contours in it, giving it a rather unique design. And then as we make our way to the side profile, we get a set of multi-spoke wheels. They're 19 inches in diameter, finished in a two-tone. Then we have sharp body lines all around these front fenders. There's a very unique line going from the front fender into the door, and it fades away towards the rear wheel, and then more sharp lines all throughout the lower portion. The Platinum Maxima is also going to get a set of chrome door handles with blackout mirror caps. We have a LED turn signal as well as a side view camera, and then more chrome trim running through the underside of the windows that fades towards the C-pillar. The window trim itself is all gloss black, and we get a panoramic roof up top with those two glass panels. And then if we take a look at the side profile, this is more of a mid-sized sedan, very good proportions both front and rear, and I like the unique body lines to it. As you make our way to the rear end, you get a massive set of LED taillights that have a similar design and shape as the headlights, very nice with the red and black for the housing. You get the Platinum name, Nissan and Maxima, and then chrome trim along with the rear view backup camera. Down below we get more sharp body lines all throughout the bumper with your parking sensors, and then you get a very nice looking quad tip dual exhaust system with chrome for the diffuser and more sharp lines. I think the rear end comes together very nicely and it matches the front very well. So there's a good look at the exterior along with some of the specs for the 2023 Nissan Maxima. Comment below, what do you guys think of the design and what do you think of having that V6 motor? We have Nissan's key fob. You do get remote start. If I go ahead and lock the car, keeping the key fob in my pocket, I can just grab the door handle. There's a button on it you can tap, it'll unlock, and we can check out this interior. This particular spec is going to get a charcoal leather interior with a little bit of silver accents. If we take a look at the door panel now, finished off in black, you can see some nice white contrast stitching up on top, smooth black leather for the center, then a pretty cool looking wood type material. You have a chrome release handle with piano black around that, memory seating, then all of your window and mirror controls with lock and unlock. We get a pretty good grab handle with some padding for your armrest and more contrast stitching, and there's more storage down below. We have an aluminum door sill with Maxima written out, and then all of your power controls are on the left side of the seat. We also get a combination of smooth black leather along with this perforated diamond stitch pattern. This is all genuine leather as well. We have a nice adjustable leg rest as well for added comfort, and then more of that same material and design running through the entire backrest. Very nice and soft leather material. Beautiful looking interior so far. We also get a black leather steering wheel with a flat bottom design, white stitching, and silver trim. And then now inside the Maxima, keeping my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. You're going to see a digital screen along with an analog tach and speedometer for the gauge cluster, And then configuring the screen, you can use the buttons on the left side of the steering wheel and go through the different menus. Right now you can see your power indication along with your temperatures. Scrolling over, you can see any warnings as well as any settings. I can hit OK into here and see all sorts of different information that'll come up that you can of course adjust. Backing out of here, you can continue over into your compass with a digital speed readout. You have audio controls, navigation, more information for trip. Then you also have fuel economy coming up, along with different safety settings and driver's aids. Taking a look at the steering wheel now, we have those controls over on the left along with your volume and source. And then on the right side, you can see all the cruise control as well as some Bluetooth controls. I really like the perforated leather design on the inside of the steering wheel. Definitely gives it a pretty premium feel. And then over on the right side, we have all the windshield wiper controls with turn signal stock on the left with all your headlight controls. On the left side of the steering wheel, we have an automatic button for the rear sunshade, heated steering wheel, safety sensors, as well as the trunk. Then we have interior dimming. We have one of the air vents, and some more of the stitching material and leather design all throughout the dashboard. It has a very cool look to it. And then more of this material for the dashboard. We have some controls on the right side, along with the left side of the infotainment screen. And then this is all touchscreen. So if I go ahead and take a look, we have phone integration. You can go into there. We also have information within the vehicle, all the audio settings as well. And then just tapping the menu button, getting back to that home screen. In here, you do have a few different screens you can control and you can configure everything. We of course have your navigation map, all the different controls there. And then more settings over on the far right side to adjust things within the car. If I go ahead and take it and put us into reverse, you're gonna see that backup camera popping up along with that top-down view. The graphics are okay, they could be better. Then we have the sonar system up in the center screen. Going ahead and putting it back into park. We have all of your climate controls underneath that with the physical buttons. We have your fan speed, your mode, dual zone temperature, as well as the recirc. And then we have a shortcut right here to go into that camera. You can toggle that, see a few different screens, which is nice to see. We have our start button on the left, then a little door that'll open up on this far right side with some auxiliary ports, as well as a slot to put a cell phone. It's actually really deep in there. We have the shifter with more of the stitching, same with throughout the center. Two cup holders on the right side, heated and ventilated seats with the controls on the far right. And then a nice shortcut design for the screen. So you don't always have to rely on touchscreen. You can use these physical controls and go through everything on the screen. You can tap into items, you can go into your menu. You also have a back button as well. So really nice to see that. Underneath that, you can see your traction control as well as a sport mode button. When you do that, it comes up on the screen letting you know that you're in the sport mode. And then behind that, we have more of this leather material and stitching for the armrest. Opening this up, we have a 12 volt in here along with a little bit of storage space. And then going over to the glove box, we can open this up and we have a pretty good sized bucket. One last look at the interior. The Maxima has a pretty good looking interior with all the stitching, and I especially like the genuine leather. It feels very, very premium. These seats are fantastic, and you got a pretty good amount of amenities. Up on top, you can see that dual pane with a panoramic sunroof. All of your controls are right in the center with a sunglass holder, and then we get your mirror up front with garage door openers. And then moving on to the rear seat space, if I grab the door handle and open it up, the door panel's finished off just like we saw up front with the same materials. And then in back, you get all the same really nice smooth leather with all the quilted leather. This can seat 3 people back here. And if you grab the center seat back, you can pull this down and we have a nice armrest along with storage and cup holders. There is storage on the back side of the front seats, heated seats, as well as 2 USB ports, and then your air vents. So then sitting in the back seat of the Nissan Maxima now, I'm 5'11", sitting here pretty comfortably. I have about an inch of headroom, and then even my legroom with the seat set at my height, I have pretty good legroom and knee room. Pretty good windows. Of course, having that roof up here is a really cool touch. And if I go ahead and pull the armrest down, it's in a pretty good spot as well to be nice and comfortable. These seats don't recline or anything back here. They're at a pretty decent recline, so I could see sitting back here for probably maybe an hour or so at least. So not a bad sedan for putting family and taller people in the back. So definitely a roomy car. We also get your grab handles up top as well as your dome lights, and then the headrests are adjustable for added height. And then moving on to the trunk storage space, you have a button on the key fob, the one on the interior, and there's one right underneath the Nissan logo. This is a very spacious trunk, as you can see, very deep load floor, and it really does amplify the amount of space you can use. We also have manual pops. You can pull these to unlock the seats. And with them down, you can see just how much more storage space you're gonna get in the back of the Maxima. They fold nearly flat, and you get a pretty large opening into the trunk to make this a very useful sedan. Alright, so setting off now in the new Nissan Maxima. It's been years since I have driven one of these, but so far being in it, it seems like a pretty comfortable car. Really good visibility, you have a huge windshield, you can easily see out. All the mirrors do a great job, and really no blind spots looking over your left and right shoulder. So pretty nice to drive. Steering is super light, and I really love the steering wheel. The shape of it is really unique, especially with the flat bottom design, and it's kind of narrower on the side. So it's more of an oval shape, but really comfortable being in here. The pep as well from the V6, I love the fact that they give you this engine. It's really quick. When you just give it, quarter throttle or half throttle, the car gets up to some speed. So it's no slouch at all. I mean, it'll get up to speed on the highway, no big deal. And surprisingly, the CVT is actually really nice to drive. Now, I'm not a fan of CVTs at all. I know I'd rather have normal gears. However, Nissan does something to where their CVTs actually drive like a normal transmission. It feels like there's gear changes. It just feels a lot better. And then as far as some slow speed things, as we go over some really bumpy train tracks, the suspension really does take the bumps nicely. It absorbs them very well. You can tell that, this is kind of Nissan's flagship sedan. You can tell that they have that attention to detail to where it's a more luxurious feeling vehicle. If I go ahead and put it in manual and sport mode, in this configuration, it gives you basically a gear that you can now shift. And it's actually responsive. When I hit the upshift, it'll change the preset gears that they've designed for the CVT. So it works really well if you need to hold a gear differently. Not sure if many people are actually gonna ever use this in the manual mode, but even in the normal drive sport mode, it sharpens it up just a little bit. It's not night and day or anything like that, but it gives you a little bit better throttle response and things like that. But as far as normal driving, it really does feel like a pretty comfortable car. The tech's pretty easy to use as well. And the seats are really nicely padded, and I just love touching the leather. It's just such a premium feeling material, and it's really not a bad car. It feels like it has quite a lot to offer. A little bit older in the technology. You can tell this is still Nissan's older technology, like the screen, the start button, the gauges. Nissan now has the bigger screens, a few newer aspects to it, to where you can tell this is still not the newest of Nissan. However, with that said, it still drives like a pretty solid car, and it feels like there's not really any cut corners or loose edges or anything like that. Brakes do a good job coming down to a standstill, and then when you get back up to some speed, nice and peppy. Front wheel drive, you can tell sometimes, I'm sure if you were to floor it more than I'm doing it, you're gonna feel a little bit of torque steer in it. I'm not quite sure if they offer all-wheel drive. However, I would go for all-wheel drive. I think that would just make it a little bit better. But overall, driving in the newest Maxima, definitely a pretty nice option. It's really smooth to drive. So then flipping around to my honest thoughts, likes and dislikes with this Nissan Maxima, I think the pros of the car, it does drive really nice. You can tell that it's not just an economy car. It has that premium feel to it, to where it's not just bouncing over all the bumps and things like that. It's really smooth. The power is nice too. Getting up to some speed, that's up to 60, and the way the CVT is, it didn't even redline. It shifted around 4,500 RPM. So the CVT, I'm not a biggest fan of them, like I said, but the CVT is actually a good CVT. It's something that if you're not into the performance driving cars and things like that, this is going to be a fine transmission. It will do what you need to do. It's not like it's the crappy CVTs from back in the day or from every other manufacturer. It's actually a decent CVT for what it is for just normal people. So it's peppy, it drives nice. The materials that you touch are really nice. The steering wheel, I love. I've never been in just a normal car like this that has a really nice steering wheel with the perforated leather, just the shape of it. It feels really, really cool, and I would love this steering wheel in a performance car, honestly. It's kind of nice. And then the seats, again, they feel really nice. Now the front wheel drive would be a downside to this particular spec. I would opt for all-wheel drive just because I think with this power, with this price point, which you'll see in a second, I feel like all-wheel drive is a much better way to go. It'll suit the car a lot better for being that flagship sedan. that pricier sedan in a, you know, more of a normal car. So all-wheel drive would definitely be better. And then the technology, the interior, you know, there are some things to it that could be newer, could be nicer. I'd like to see the new Nissan in this car. I think the screen, you know, if this was a massive screen, something like that, that would be a lot better. You can tell that this still does have the older Nissan aspects to it. But I don't think it's really a hard car to complain with just because it really does feel solid. I've been in the Toyota Camrys, the Toyota Avalons, and they feel just as solid as this. However, the materials in them just feel so much more plasticky. Everything in the Toyotas, it seems, is just plastic. While all the dash and the doors is fake leather, of course, it is a lot nicer than just plastic panels. So I think Nissan is taking that little extra attention to detail to giving you an interior that looks nicer, feels nicer than the competition, giving you genuine leather on the seats and steering wheel. You know, you're not going to see that in the Toyotas, which are going to be about the same price point. So I think Nissan is giving you some extra goodies. I just think, yeah, the drivetrain could be better with the all-wheel drive. And while this is a good CVT, I would still prefer just to see Nissan's 9-speed, solid transmission, especially in the Pathfinder and other vehicles paired to a V6. But overall, you know, I don't think it's a bad car. I think it's actually pretty nice to be in. And it's smooth, it's quiet, it's comfortable. Definitely, if you're looking for a mid-size sedan, put the Maxima on your list. It drives very nice, has enough tech even for not being the newest generation stuff. And it's going to give the competition a pretty good run. So with all of that said, this Nissan Maxima costs $46,500. So do I think it's worth over $46,000? It's kind of a toss-up. I think if you're a performance type of person like myself, a used Audi S4 or a BMW M430i, you're pretty much getting the same size sedan, and yet you're getting a true performance car with luxury refinements, being a luxury German brand. So for me, those used cars are very, very appealing at the same money that this car is. If you're a normal person looking for a normal car, a Toyota Avalon is going to be about the same price as this. Great car. I mean, obviously that is a very good car in the segment. I think the Nissan is very nice and is a good competitor. I'd say the biggest downfalls are probably the fact that it's got a CVT transmission. Not everybody likes that, and most people would prefer a real transmission. So I think that could be the only downside. However, when you look at the interior of this, the lack of plastic panels versus the Toyota, I think, are a big selling point from the Nissan. It gives you a little bit better feeling. So I think it's kind of a toss-up. There's some great options. We're pushing 50 grand out the door with a car like this. That can go a long ways on a lot of performance-focused cars and a lot of even pre-owned luxury cars that are more normal. So comment below, what do you guys think? Do you think this is worth $46,500? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Big shout out and thank you once again to Flo Nissan of Statesville for providing this Maxima for today's video. Take a look at their website linked below, and I'll see you all in the next video.